Hello, pirate readers. This is Mrs. Prather, your teacher librarian, here to talk to you today about how to find a good book to read. Uh, I am Francine.Prather at osi.us if you have any questions after this presentation, and you can also reach out to Ms. Lundquist, our library media technician, at marie.lundquist at osi.us. We are both here to help you. So, what is your just right book? That's how you find a good book. We want to talk about books that are not too hard, not too easy, and books that interest you, especially when you're doing outside reading on your own. So, students will ask me, well, shouldn't I just stick to my Lexile? What is a Lexile? You've taken the iReady, and some of you have done other programs, and they give you this number. Lexile really is a measure of sentence length and word frequency and trying to match your reading to that. The thing is that Lexile levels actually change. Different tests measure Lexiles differently, and it depends on what you're reading for. Scores for fiction are usually higher than your scores for what's called nonfiction or informational text. There's lots of places online you can find more information about Lexile, but it's really more complex matching you with a good book than just sentence length and word frequency. So that's what we're going to talk about now. So, what do you look for? Well, it is a guide, your Lexile level. And when you're reading independently, they say you should stick to 50 points above or 100 points below your current level. Just a guide. But don't get stuck. I will often talk to students, maybe somebody who is, say, scored 600 on a Lexile test, and they say, well, I can only read books at 600. And then other students, maybe they scored 1100 and they say, well, I can only read 1100. And that changes for all of us depending on what we're reading. For example, if you are interested in the topic, you are going to be able to read at a much higher level than what your test results might say. Interest is a huge predictor of ability to read at different levels. The background knowledge that you have about a subject. Background knowledge is what you already know before you read a book. Do you have a lot of historical knowledge? Do you have a lot of scientific knowledge? Do you know a lot about cars? Does it relate to things that are in your life? Then you're going to be able to read at a much higher level than maybe what your test said. It's very important. Does it mean something to you? Can you relate to it? That makes things much easier for all of us to read. If you're learning something completely new that you learned nothing about before, your Lexile level is going to be lower. Also, the type of reader that you are. Are you the kind of person who likes real topics? You like to do stuff with your hands. Maybe then you want to read more about nonfiction topics like cars. Do you like art? You might want nonfiction books about art, facts. Those are more nonfiction oriented. Or maybe then you just want realistic fiction or sports fiction that's more about what seems like real life. On the other hand, if you're the kind of person who likes stories, then you do want to pick more fiction books, fantasy, graphic novels, right? Those are the kind of things that might appeal to you more. The other thing to consider is the 5-finger rule. Teachers talk about that a lot. How do you, when you read the first page of a novel or a book, are there so many words, up to 5 maybe, that you don't understand? Well, if you are very motivated to read a book, maybe you will be motivated to use your phone to look up those topics and those words that you don't know to get a little bit more information. I have a former student who, anytime she came across a word she didn't know, she would write it down and then go look it up later. And she built her vocabulary to an amazing level by doing that. So it depends on how motivated you are. So use that as a guide, but it's not, again, the only reason to stop reading a novel or a book. The other problem, of course, right now is that we're in quarantine and you can't just pick up a book and read through it. So I'm going to show you right now how to reserve books and how to search our catalog to find books that you might look for. And I suggest that you choose 4 or 5 books and put them on hold so that when you come pick them up, you can look through them and then see, is this something that interests me and that I think I want to read? So we have the Destiny Library catalog, and as I said, you would be able to place books on hold through using our catalog, and then you would come on Tuesday or Thursday after school, 12:50 to 2:45, to pick those books up from us. So your teachers have probably put fall options for independent reading into your Google Classroom. So I'm just going to go directly to the actual catalog to show you how to use it. So in your portal, your Rapid ID, you can click on the Destiny app. You all have this. And if you log in through the portal and you click on Oceanside High School, it should tell you that it should recognize that you're logged in and you need to do this. Make sure that you're logged in to place a hold. You can see that we actually, on our homepage here, have it organized. A collection is, we've created these of topics that we know that students have been interested in the past. There's different numbers in here. It doesn't mean we have all the books. It's not only limited to these books. The Reading is Freedom is a project this year with Dr. Villarreal, our new principal. We ordered many new books that are high interest, very mostly all realistic fiction, diverse topics, books like The Hate You Give, I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter, books that are very related to our students and topics that they're interested in. Also, some fiction and nonfiction and fantasy. Um, Really good books. I've been reading them, and as has Miss Lundquist. Also, you can look at, these are topics or genres. The library is organized by this now. So if, like I mentioned, James Patterson, if you like adventure books, a lot of students have said to me in the past that if you like, they didn't know they liked to read till they read James Patterson's adventure books. So you can click on this and it'll give you lists of books. You're not limited to searching the catalog like this. You can just come up here and you can put in any topic that you like. So let's say you like sports. And you can see these are nonfiction books. When you look at the call number, if they have a number, they will tell you if the publisher has put Alexile, then and they're newer, then Alexile will be here. But these are different books. You can see they are in right now. Interest level young adult 8.3 would be grade level 8.3. And then see, this one has Alexile. So let's say you were interested in reading it. You click on it and say, this looks good. Here's a quick little summary. It turns out it's a biography. You can also see the B there for biography. Sure, I want to read about Michael Jordan, and you place a hold. That lets Miss Lundquist and me know that you want that book, and we will pull it off the shelf, and you can come and pick it up on Tuesdays or Thursdays after school. So you could go through the catalog and search that way. Another way that you could search if you really do want to search by your Lexile is to come over here to search options, and under reading programs, you can click Lexile, and then you could put in your exact Lexile measure, or you could put in a range. So let's say it's 850. So maybe I would say 800 to 900. Set my options, and then I could simply just click on the search tool, and then it will give me everything in the 800 to 900 range that has a Lexile on it. Notice Stephen King is 890. So many of these books are often, this is where you start to say, well, maybe it's not as simple as it seems because, for example, Beloved is 870, but it is considered a very difficult book to read. Most students in advanced placements classes read it. The narrative structure is very difficult for students to read. So that's a case where it says that it's a lower Lexile, but other factors come into play. How much do you know about slavery, for example? So, um, those are things to consider as well as you're picking your books. As I Lay Dying is one of the only books I've never finished reading because I was just totally uninterested in it. So, there you go. These are all at a Lexile that I am supposed to be able to read at, but different things make them very varied in their difficulty to read. So that's what I wanted to show you today. And again, if you have any questions, you are welcome to email me at francine.prather@oside.us. Take care.